In this video, we'll be taking a look at evaluating limits using the factorization method. Now, when evaluating limits, there are 4 steps that we need to take to find the limit, and that would be step 1. First, we try by direct substitution. If direct substitution does not work, we go and we try to factorize. If factorization does not work, we can try to rationalize by finding the conjugate of the radical. And if we're not able to rationalize, we can go ahead and reduce the limit to its standard form. Now, for this video, we will only be focusing on the factorization method. Now, let's say we had the limit as x approaches 4 of x squared minus 16 divided by x minus 4. Now, if you were to try the substitution method, this would be 4 squared minus 16 divided by 4 minus 4. This would be a 0 over 0 indeterminate form, or undefined. So with that done, we know that the direct substitution method will not work for this limit. And so that's where we will try our factorization. X squared minus 16 is a difference of 2 squares. So we know this would be x minus 4 into x plus 4, and that would be divided by x minus 4. So that's how we FOIL our numerator. Now, x minus 4 and x minus 4 cancel, and so we are left with the limit as x approaches 4 of x plus 4, which will be 4 plus 4, or 8. So our final limit for this answer is 8. Now let's take a look at the limit as x approaches 9 of x minus 9 divided by x squared minus 81. Now, by doing a direct substitution, we know that 9 minus 9 divided by 9 squared minus 81 will be a 0 over 0 undefined form. And so we know that a direct substitution does not work, which means we are going to move on to using our factorization method. Now, this then becomes the limit as x approaches 9 of x minus 9 divided by x squared minus 81, which when we FOIL becomes x minus 9 into x plus 9. So x minus 9 would cancel with x minus 9, and so we have the limit as x approaches 9 of 1 divided by x plus 9. Now we can go ahead with a direct substitution. This becomes 9 plus 9, or 1 over 18. And this would be our limit. Now let's move on to our next example. Now let's say we had the limit as x approaches 1 of 7x minus 7 divided by 8x minus 8. Now, if we try a direct substitution, this becomes 7 times 1 minus 7 divided by 8 times 1 minus 8, which is 0 over 0, or undefined. So we know that direct substitution will not work here. So let's go ahead and factorize. So this then becomes the limit as x approaches 1 of 7 into x minus 1 divided by 8 into x minus 1. Now both x minus 1's cancel, And so our final limit is 7 divided by 8. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our next example. So let's say we had the limit as x approaches negative 1 of x squared plus 6x plus 5 divided by x plus 1. Now, as we mentioned, we will only be doing the factorization method, so we already know that the direct substitution method will not work. Now, let's factorize our numerator. Now, those two numbers, when we multiply them, we get 5, and when we add them, we get 6. It will be 1 and 5. And so, when we FOIL our numerator, this would become x plus 1 into x plus 5, all divided by x plus 1. Now, both x plus 1s will cancel, and so we are left with our limit as x approaches negative 1 of x plus 5. We can go ahead now and direct substitute, so that will be negative 1 plus 5 or 4. So that would be your limit, 4. Now let's try another limit. Now let's say we had the limit as x approaches negative 2 of x plus 2 divided by x squared plus 6x plus 8. Now this becomes the limit as x approaches negative 2 of x plus 1 plus 2 divided by, so what two numbers, when we multiply them we get 8, but when we add them we get 6. Those two numbers would be 2 and 4. So when we FOIL our denominator, we should have x plus 2 into x plus 4. These two would cancel, and so we are left with our limit as x approaches negative 2 of 1 divided by x plus 4. We can go ahead and have a direct substitution done, which would be 1 divided by negative 2 plus 4, or 1/2. And that would be our answer for this limit. Now let's move on to another example. And let's say we had the limit as x approaches negative 2 of x squared minus 3x plus 2 divided by x squared minus 5x plus 6. You guys can go ahead and try this for yourself. Now, for the numerator, we need to find two numbers. When we multiply them, we get 2, but when we add them, we get negative 3. And for the denominator, we need to find two numbers that when we multiply them, we get 6, but when we add them, we get negative 5. For this one, what two numbers, when we multiply them, we get positive 2, and add them, we get negative 3? That would be negative 1 and negative 2. And the two numbers that when we multiply them, we get 6, and add them, we get negative 5, would be negative 2 and negative 3. And so when we FOIL both the numerator and denominator, we should get x minus 1 into x minus 2 divided by x minus 2 into x minus 3. And so both x minus 2's cancel, and we are left with a limit as x approaches negative 2 of x minus 1 divided by x minus 3. When we go ahead and direct substitute, this becomes negative 2 minus negative 1 divided by negative 2 minus negative 3. this becomes negative 3 divided by negative 5. So these negative signs will cancel, and so our final limit will be 3/5. Now let's say we had the limit as x approaches 7 of negative x squared plus 16x minus 63 divided by x squared minus 2x minus 35. Now, I would rewrite this as a limit as x approaches 7 of negative 1 multiplied by x squared plus negative 16x plus 63 all divided by x squared minus 2x minus 35. Now we need to find two numbers that when we add them, we get 63. So a plus b should be negative 16, sorry about that. And when we multiply them, we should get positive 63. And that will be for a numerator. And we need to find two numbers that when we multiply them, we get negative 35. But when we add them, we get negative 2. And this would be for our denominator. Now for a numerator, those two numbers would be negative 7 and negative 9. And for our denominator, those two numbers would be negative 7 and positive 5. So now that we found those numbers, we can go ahead and plug those in. So the limit as x approaches 7, when we go ahead and FOIL the numerator, we will have negative 1 multiplied by x minus 7 into x minus 9 divided by x minus 7 into x plus 5. We can go ahead and cancel these two. So this then becomes negative 1 times x minus 9 over x plus 5, which is equal to negative 7 minus 9 divided by 7 plus 5, which is negative 2 divided by 12, or 2 divided by 12, which makes our final answer to its lowest term 1/6. And that would be it for that question and for our video. Thanks again for joining, guys. Hit a like if you like the video, and please subscribe for more great content.